This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
North Texas food fans, it's time for another episode of Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News. Every week, our food staff loves to dig into the local restaurant scene, talk about food and drink trends, and those things that make North Texas, North Texas. This is Anna Butler. I'm the News' food and events editor and your podcast host. We are less than a week out from Texas's very first Michelin Awards, so naturally that's what we'll be talking about today, especially as it relates to our hopes and fears for what we see when it comes to the restaurant picks. So stick around. You won't want to miss this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
And we're back. For the latest food and restaurant news, visit dallasnews.com/food. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any food questions, a need for restaurant ideas, or just want to chat with the Dallas Morning News food team, email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I am joined by our food writers, Claire Baller, Sarah Blaskovich, and Imelda Garcia. So I feel like there's not a lot of sleep happening in this room.
Yep.
Because we're all pretty anxious because of the Michelin Awards. Like, one, obviously we want to nail them when it comes to coverage of them. But I think that we also feel like there are a lot of really big implications for what happens, what restaurants are named. And then also conversely, is it going to change anything at all? Who knows? But Sarah, I did want you to kind of remind us about how all of this came about, put it into context a little bit about what it means for North Texas.
Yes, of course. So Michelin has been rating restaurants since 1926. By my math, that's nearly 100 years. And the map of where Michelin inspectors would go has changed greatly over the years. Michelin is a French company, so naturally, a lot of those restaurant reviews were in Europe. Over the years, it has expanded all across the globe. And on November 11th, 2024, Texas will, for the first time, be on Michelin's map. We have made the joke here and lots of other places that Texas should always have been on Michelin's map, but 2024 is the first year when it will officially declare that restaurants in 5 Texas cities could get Michelin stars, green stars, Bib Gourmands, or recommended awards.
Sarah, I have a question. Is this for life? I mean, is this, if I get a Michelin star, it's for life or what?
No, if you get a Michelin star, and they are awarded to restaurants, not chefs, but if a restaurant gets a Michelin star, they then have to re-earn it the year later.
No.
Yes. So they could get more stars. They could get fewer stars. They could get nothing. One chef described it as the monkey on his back. The idea that even if you get this incredible honor of a 1-star, a 2-star, or a 3-star Michelin rating, with 3 being the highest, you don't get to keep it.
Imagine having one and then lose it. Oh, no.
Yes. You know, I was talking with somebody the other day, and the discussion was after this announcement, and the Dallas Morning News will be all over this. After this announcement, maybe we could close the book on Michelin. And I said, no, this book stays open to this page on this chapter for at least a year. And I'm not saying we need to talk about Michelin every week or even every month, depending on what's going on, but that book stays open until next year, the year after, and the year after that. And we continue to talk about what Michelin's entry into Texas means in big and small ways.
So essentially, this was an investment from local visitor and convention bureau type of situations. And they all signed on for a 3-year contract. And so we know we'll have Michelin awards for 3 years. We don't know if it's into perpetuity. So, Imelda, if Michelin goes away and you have a star, maybe you do get to keep it forever.
Hopefully.
That's a good point.
I don't think we've ever seen a city do away with Michelin after getting it, though, have we? Not that I can recall.
I can't recall. I don't know what that would look like or how big a fallout it would or would not be. What we know is that visitors bureaus paid for this opportunity. It was about $90,000 for each of the 5 visitors bureaus in Texas, and that it would be Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. The sum of all 5 was then paid again by Travel Texas, which is an entity in the governor's office. So all told, about a little less than $1 million, about $900,000 was paid among these 6 entities to Michelin so that we get the rights to have Michelin look at our restaurants.
and we do not get the rights to have any starred restaurants at all. So we
Great
might
point.
walk away from this and have nothing. We could have something, but we don't actually get guaranteed anything because they're still evaluating you on their same Richter scale as they would be using in Paris, as they would in London, as they would in New York. And the whole point of this, really, why visitors bureaus are attached to it, is because it's about people traveling here for the food. It's about food that is worth taking a trip to eat.
That's right. And this week I talked to a really cool group of people. There were 5 people. They're part of a much larger group called the Hungries, and they are essentially Michelin obsessed eaters. And these 5 people I talked to live in Texas, but they are on a online Discord chat where they talk to thousands of people from all over the world. Many of them live in Europe, and more specifically, a bunch of them live in Copenhagen. And I talked to all these Texans about what this means to them. People who spend thousands upon thousands of dollars every year to leave Texas and go eat at these Michelin-starred restaurants. It's bucket list stuff for them every single time. You know, how does it feel for it to come to your own backyard? And it was interesting to hear their answers, because none of them are going to stop traveling to Europe or to Asia or to New York City or to San Francisco in order to eat at the restaurants they think are the best in the world. They all said, I'm not sure that we will have anything more than a 1-star restaurant in Texas. This was just their guess. Now, I think it's a pretty educated guess. They've eaten at many more Michelin-starred restaurants that I have. In fact, there's one guy who lost count, but he thinks he's in the hundreds of Michelin-starred restaurants. I talked to this one guy, Michael Winters, who grew up in Houston. And as we were getting off of our group chat about Michelin, he just said, I want to also say that even though he spent so much of his life and quite a bit of his money going to Michelin-starred restaurants, he's like, food is super subjective, and there's a lot of people whose feelings are going to be hurt. And he's like, I want to go on record saying I like a lot of non-Michelin starred restaurants too. So when we kind of unpack this Michelin thing, we will be talking a lot about who made the list and who did not. And we do need to remember that there's all kinds of great food that just isn't Michelin worthy, which doesn't mean that it's not good.
Yeah, and I think that gets at something that I wanted to touch on today, are some of our hopes and fears around this list, because it's an interesting thing to talk about because there's so much good food. And we have and have not confirmed certain perhaps Michelin invitations off the record that we cannot talk about at all, but that surprise us in different regards. I have a lot of soapboxes that I've subjected my team to about what I hope and fear with this, but I did want to hear a little bit from y'all. Like, Claire, what do you hope for when you're looking at this Michelin list?
You know, for me, I really hope that this is seen as kind of a challenge accepted by the restaurant community here. You know, this is the first time that we are going to experience this type of measurement of our area's restaurant scene. We all have our own thoughts and opinions on the food here, but this is a group of people that is coming in from literally out of town and with a very different mindset, and people who are going to compare us to the best dining scenes and restaurants in the world. So, you know, that's going to be incredibly fascinating to see what they think. And I hope that we see this as an opportunity to say, okay, what can we do better? But at the same time, I mean, how can we still maintain our character and the things that make our food unique? But I really hope that this is not a time when people are kind of fixated on any potential disappointment, but rather this is a cool opportunity to be part of the national and international conversation on food, and how can we use it to our advantage.
Look, I'm not going to say I'm fixated on the disappointing parts of it, but I'm a preparer. Like, I want to prepare for the worst in a situation. And so, because I'm a little anxious, and maybe that's what makes me, you know, an editor and want to plan ahead on all of this stuff. But I think my stuff mainly goes down to that fact that it is these outside perspectives coming in. And so I think one of the things we've all heard a lot about is that North Texas's Tex-Mex scene and Mexican food scene isn't as good as the rest of the state. And I think one of the things that bothers me with that is you're comparing it and it's regional, and you shouldn't be comparing it because it is regional. When you look at Mexican food and Tex-Mex takes in Central Texas and San Antonio versus Austin, they have completely different dishes. You're going to find more puffy tacos in San Antonio than you are in Austin any day of the week. In the same way, Dallas, it's hard to find a great piece of grilled chicken with sour cream sauce on it in Austin, but I can find it on every menu up here in the same way I can find brisket tacos that are more stewed, not brisket tacos that are barbecue like you would in Central Texas. So it's these things that I look at it and I'm like, man, are there going to be some holes on this this list because that nuance wasn't there that would be there when they're evaluating a French restaurant and you're talking about northern France versus southern France when you're cooking with the same ingredients. But no, those things should be different. And maybe those aren't like real fears, but that's where I'm at.
I think they're valid though, because there is a lot we don't know about this. And, you know, we are people who value transparency and we seek it out constantly. And Michelin is an entity that operates with a lot of secrecy. We don't know how long they've been here trying food. For all we know, there are inspectors who have been studying up on Tex-Mex for 4 years now, or they just started visiting restaurants within this calendar year. There could be inspectors who have extensive Tex-Mex experience or not. We don't know. We don't know who these people are and we don't know how long they've been doing it. And that's a vulnerable thing.
Claire, it's also unpopularly one of my favorite things about Michelin is this sort of secrecy and mysteriousness around it. It's very frustrating for a journalist, but they've really managed to get away with quite a bit that we don't understand. And that's pretty incredible.
It is. And I think it warrants skepticism at the same time.
Absolutely.
I agree with this Tex-Mex part and the Mexican one because we have great places, you know. I just hope that the landlords don't get too greedy after this because we have seen a lot of places that have closed because rent increases like to a point that is not sustainable anymore.
Yeah, it's a good point.
There are studies on this actually too. In New York, certain Michelin restaurants actually end up closing after a certain amount of time. I think a lot of the time people bump up rent because they see success there. The margins at a restaurant are so tight already. The other thing that happens though with that building success is restaurants are less likely to get a break from supply chain. So you're less likely to get a deal on something or you're going to continue to be charged more and more markedly over time, even in these high inflationary periods, because of perceived success. So you get priced out while trying to still make it a place that people can afford to go to.
We've said this since we've been talking about Michelin this summer, that Michelin-starred restaurants are thought to be expensive, and that is generally true. So they have an award category called Bib Gourmand, which is given to restaurants that have more affordable food. We're talking about hopes and fears, Anna. And so a hope is that the Bib Gourmands are given to restaurants that are actually affordable. We do have an idea of some restaurants that will be invited to this party next week, which means they will win something. Some of these restaurants are more expensive. Some of them also may not be Michelin star quality. So are we going to give more expensive Dallas restaurants a Bib Gourmand? These are places where all of us would probably think that's a pretty nice Saturday night out where we're going to spend a couple $100. My hope is that the Bibs are going to go more to the places selling burgers, barbecue, tacos, Tex-Mex. That's what I'd love to see, is a list where people of any income level feel like they can find something there that will be, first of all, tasty to them, and second of all, accessible. One of my fears, and this thought came from, again, the Hungries, this group of really interesting Michelin-obsessed folks, is I have a fear that we will have more mainstream restaurants tacking on a tasting menu to their options. So you can go and spend a couple $100 on dinner, let's say, ordering a la carte, or you can order their 8 to 10 course dinner for, call it $300 or $400 a person. I'm just making up these numbers and these prices, but I don't need more tasting menus in the city, and I think we will see them. It's not how I prefer to eat. I love to pick great food and share. And a Michelin city, I believe, brings more Michelin style tasting menus.
I think my thing with tasting menus is also, I do like it. I want to know how the chef wants me to eat. I want to go on that journey with them. What I don't want is the pivot back where it's like, you were never a tasting menu restaurant. Why are you adding that?
Or restaurants suddenly taking a rather French approach to their food that might not really fit, but might just be a Michelin play. We know Michelin likes French restaurants. They're from France. Another fear of mine is reservations.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just inevitable. I think it's the writings on the wall that we will see restaurants that we love be harder to get into, even harder than they might already be. One thing that I love about living in Dallas is that, unlike other cities, you can, in many cases, have a great dinner out spontaneously on a Friday or Saturday, and Michelin could potentially change that.
Life is hard enough already. All that extra planning and paying the babysitter, Claire, and.
Yeah. Do you think this excessiveness of work that they will have will affect their quality? Because they're going to have a lot of work.
But I think it goes back into what you were saying. If they keep the star or they keep that designation, like someone could be watching them all the time, so they better not let it slip.
Yeah.
I think it will improve quality. I think the people who are tied in and care about Michelin right now, they're already thinking about next awards cycle. They're not even thinking about what's going to happen next week. They're thinking about what do they need to change in their restaurant right now so that the next time a Michelin inspector shows up, things are going the way that they want them to. I do think that will play into pricing. I mean, it's expensive. It's expensive to make changes in your restaurant that improve ingredient quality, which we know Michelin cares about. I think this will help raise the bar and probably also restaurant prices, but I don't think we'll see a quality slip.
Another thing that I love is that a lot of lives will be changed from this. I mean, restaurants not only win the Michelin. I mean, if you are a chef, if you're a cook there, now you're going to be a Michelin cook. Your value automatically increase. They're going to have better opportunities, and that's great.
It also will keep good chefs in Dallas-Fort Worth, I
Yes.
believe, or at least in Texas at large. I don't think we'll see as many chefs saying, man, I got to move to LA or New York in order to work for someone serious, or even in order to open my own business. And, you know, I've never opened a restaurant in Dallas, much less in New York or LA, but I do believe across the board that it would be easier to do in Dallas than in those other cities. And so we will offer opportunity to people, and we will hopefully be able to keep our talent here in this wonderful state. That makes me proud for Texas.
Yes.
All right, so to recap, the first Michelin announcement in Texas ever will be Monday night, November 11th. I will be there in person, and I'm not going to spoil it, but we have so many cool stories coming from the rest of the food team that will blow your mind, and you have to be watching along. Go to dallasnews.com/food. The announcements start at 7:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday, and we will have by the minute details on who is winning what with some context.
Okay, I did want to share something that happened on Friday that was a little goofy. Sarah and I sit with our backs facing each other, not because we don't like each other, that's just our seating arrangement in the food section. And we were both talking about making reservations at a restaurant called Le Passage, which Sarah talked about a few episodes ago. It's a new, exciting Asian restaurant on Fitzhugh. What she and I didn't realize when we were talking about making those reservations is that we made them at the exact time on the exact same night. And so we rolled into a restaurant together, but we get to talk about the food that we ate.
And we didn't sit together.
No, we were not there together at all. You were there with a group. I was there with my significant other, and I was jealous more because y'all got to try more food.
Yes, we did have a 4-top, which means that we probably ordered twice as much food as you did, which is the best way to experience a brand new restaurant.
It's possible we ordered just as much dessert as y'all did because we got 2 desserts.
Oh, yeah. We also got 2 desserts among 4 people. So same.
But we got this Earl Grey donut at Le Passage, which was absolutely fantastic. But the one I wanted to hit on is something that Sarah loved so much that she wrote a single story about it. It's called mushroom caramel. What is that dish actually called?
The dish is called yogurt and mushroom.
Yes. And the reason you need to order it is if you like food at all and you're okay with something not being as traditional. It's one of the only desserts I've ever had in my life that has an umami note to it, which is why when you eat it, you're like, what on earth is in my mouth right now? Because you actually are getting every single part of your palate hit, but for a dessert, which you're used to having probably for an appetizer, an entree, but never your dessert. And it was so exciting to me because Sarah was obsessed with it, and I concur. It reminded me of this dessert that Philip Spear, who was with Uchi and Uchiko in Austin for a long time, used to make called goat cheese fondant that came with tomato sorbet and tomato paper, a pistachio dirt, and then a balsamic reduction. And everyone's like, that is so gross. It is the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. I want it for my last meal.
And it's dessert.
It's dessert. And it's fantastic.
I wonder if mushrooms are becoming a dessert thing, because at Chefs for Farmers, which just happened, La Boca Gelato was there, and they were serving a chocolate and lion's mane mushroom gelato, which was actually really good. It probably wasn't as mushroomy as this other dessert.
Yes, I agree. I also had the mushroom ice cream at Chefs for Farmers, and Claire, I wanted it because of this other mushroom dessert dish. I was like, I'm a mushroom dessert person now, I guess. I love that you picked up on that too. I found it to taste a lot like chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Which I like.
The texture was different. I mean, the texture was the most interesting thing to me.
Yes.
Because it was different kind of take on a gelato, but 3 is a trend, right? So now we just need to find a third mushroom
If you are
dessert.
making a mushroom dessert out there, drop us a line at eatdrink@dallasnews.com.
I wonder if it's because functional mushrooms are so in right now. Lion's Mane to me is a supplement I started taking, and I was taking it and it made me so anxious. And what it's supposed to do is make you have more mental acuity, and you need to be smarter, and it's supposed to help with that. And what we learned is I didn't need it. It created problems.
You know, it's been a minute since we've mentioned microdosing mushrooms on this podcast. And I've never done it, but I'm interested in it. There's so many ways we can use mushrooms in our lives.
But mushrooms are trendy right now. I mean, I have seen like coffee with mushrooms and things like that.
That mushroom coffee thing is a very real thing. It's supposed to be, I feel like they use it for like a gut reset.
At Le Passage, Anna, did you go to the Rose Cafe?
No, I just poked my head inside, and it is immaculate. It is so beautiful. I will say the next time I go to Le Passage, I want to sit on the porch because the dining room is meant to feel like the Orient Express, and it does. It's very cool. It feels like a train car. I mean, the people watching of this portion of the Katy Trail, unparalleled. Mm-hmm. And I would be okay just sitting there eating a lot of their stuff. We got that appetizer sampler, for instance. There was 2 of 4 types of things. And I could chow down on that while having a cocktail. But I would do that at Rose Cafe too.
So clearly what needs to happen is Imelda and I need to go dine at Le Passage, not together, but at the same time, and look at each other from across the room.
We literally were sitting across the room and could see each other.
You do.
So I want to know, what are things that we should order that you guys had and loved aside from this mushroom dessert? And then is there anything that you guys have not ordered yet that you want to try or are hoping to try next time you're in?
I mean, I need to round out the dessert menu. There were only 4 choices. Apparently, the pastry chef is also working on a chocolate dessert that she's just not happy with yet. That was per someone in passing.
Ooh, I wonder what that chocolate dish will be.
Probably with mushroom?
You know, I hope so.
Chocolate mushroom gelato?
Just like a little bit, like a micro dose of mushroom.
I'm never going to be able to live that down.
No, you're not. I loved the eggplant side that Sarah talked about. So my boyfriend loves eggplant. So we got this eggplant side that Sarah was like, it's so good. You won't even know it's vegan. And it was just doused in garlic though. And it was fantastic. We also got the green curry prawns. Highly recommend that. But that was also plenty of food where we didn't have anything to take home for 2 people. We maybe could have ordered like one more side, but it would have been unpleasant with us eating 2 desserts as well.
Yes, one thing we didn't get was the whole fried snapper. And one of the reasons we didn't get it is because the dish was ordered by the people at the table next to us. So we got it on full display before we even had menus in our hands. So we felt as though we'd experienced the whole fried snapper at least 50% because, guys, this is a very large fish fried. And I don't know if all snappers are doing that like cartoon frowny face, but he was.
Still had its eyes, right?
Yeah, whole fish.
Yeah, I saw
sitting
a
up
few,
and doing the like kind of face.
No.
And so we didn't end up ordering it, but I do want to eat that. But as we've established last episode, my husband did chat at them deeply about the fish. So we even then experienced it a few more percentage points because they talked about it with us. So all I have left to do is try it.
That makes me laugh. But what makes me laugh harder is Imelda seeming a little grossed out by the snapper when she was like, cabrito, a baby goat, prostrated and grilled whole.
And
in
the
his
eye is
head.
in there also.
Yes.
I just want to know, were you texting while you were eating or something?
No.
Oh.
No,
that's
we
so
were
bad.
really good. We didn't do anything. We walked over and said goodbye on our way out because, as you might imagine, a party of 2, a little quicker than a party of 4.
Yep.
And really just talked about Netflix shows afterwards.
We were with another couple who I love so dearly, and they're just like a great time at a restaurant. And so we could stay forever with them. And in fact, we did. We went over to the Rose Cafe and had 2 more drinks. And I want to echo what Anna said a little bit ago. The patio on Le Passage is really fantastic people watching. And I miscalculated that seat because when the reservations were open, you can pick dining room or you can pick, I don't know what they call it, patio, garden, cafe, something like that. And I very purposefully was like, we do not want to sit outdoors. We want to sit indoors. This is a fancy restaurant. We're spending $300 a couple. This is an inside place. And it is, but I think we missed show outside. The weather was nice. There was quite a bit of drinking. And next time I would totally sit outside. And then the other thing I would say is that we went over to Rose Cafe after dinner and the weather was, again, really beautiful. It was very dark at that point. And what fun it is to sit on the edge of the Katy Trail, you know, in a beautiful, charming restaurant with a glass of sparkling rosé to end the night. I just would do that again and again. In fact, my next good dinner, I think, might be at Rose Cafe.
And what Netflix shows are you talking about?
We just finished Nobody Wants This. Has anybody done the Kristen Bell
Nope.
rom-com Nobody Wants This?
Nope.
It is so hysterical and adorable. We blasted through those cute little 20 to 30 minute episodes in a few days.
I love how palatable and great that is. Your friend suggested that we watch Disclaimer on Apple TV Plus with Kate Blanchett. So we went home, we looked at it, and we were like, wow, we would really like to watch that and watch The Hunt for Red October for the 100th time instead. You know, I love anything war adjacent. And it was in this moment that I realized that that movie starring Alec Baldwin, he is Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is who he is. And I had never put together like John Krasinski, Jack Ryan, Ben Affleck, Jack Ryan, Harrison Ford, also Jack Ryan. They're all Tom Clancy related. I'm so sorry that I've been slow on the uptake. But that was my great revelation of Friday night. It's like y'all went out to get drinks and I was like, Sean Connery.
But so you didn't take the suggestions of the group.
We totally did. I added them to my list and then I was like,
sure.
Let's watch a movie.
I'm going to think about it, is what Anna said. She said maybe.
If I have a little bit of lion's mane in me.
And on that note, before we wrap up, just another reminder to everyone listening, tune in with us next week as we track minute by minute what's happening with Michelin. That's November 11th. It's going to start at 7:30 p.m. We'll have a whole bunch of other stories to read next week. And our podcast next week will also certainly be lots of Michelin discussion. So stay tuned for that.
Again, you can reach out to us to share your food thoughts and questions by emailing us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. We appreciate you tuning in and we'd love to hear from you. This show is produced by Julie Fisk. Remember her?
Julie's back.
To catch up on every episode of this show and hear more from our newsroom, just follow the Dallas Morning News wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, please rate the show and leave a review. Find links to all of our work at dallasnews.com/listen. You'll also find a special membership offer there. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.